Hey everyone, and welcome to month 14 of the OLED burn-in test. This is a burn-in test I run on my 65C9 PLA, which is the 65-inch C9 LG OLED TV. UTT just down here is 2307, so that's how many hours the panel's actually been used for. OFFRS, which is the pixel refresher count. So the mini pixel refresher count has run 415 times. The last one being after 2,279 hours. And the JB or the CT is the major pixel refresher. So as you can see, this has now gone to 2, and the last one was run after 2,151 hours. Now just on that, I did mention in the last burn-in video that I did that even though I passed 2,000 hours, it hadn't run. So it does look like this actually runs exactly 2,000 hours after your last one. So because I'd run a manual one, it didn't then rerun one once it got to 2,000. It waited until it had accrued 2,000 additional hours after the 151 hours when I actually initially ran it manually, and then it did actually prompt us. My son was using it for gaming at the time. It did bring up a prompt and he left it and it ran perfectly fine. So with that, we will exit out of this. Okay, so that is the test restarted. So as I say, for those of you watching for the first time, firstly, welcome to the channel. The purpose of these videos and this playlist, because this is a playlist that you can go down and watch in the description below. The reason for these videos is basically to show real world usage of a OLED TV, used for gaming, used for sports, a lot of mixed usage in there as well, but the primary use for this particular TV is gaming. PS4 Pro. My son mainly uses it. To be perfectly honest, I don't really get time to play much. Whenever I'm using it, it's generally for sports or for movies and TV series. Sports is weekends, football, Formula 1, that kind of thing. And gaming wise, it's actually been very mixed, and we've had everything from FIFA. My son's been playing quite a lot of FIFA 21 recently, as well as Call of Duty as well. He did get the new Call of Duty game and he's been playing that pretty much non-stop. That includes some days when he's basically been off school and he's played for upwards of 12 hours in a day. Not obviously continuously, but in the whole day is probably over 12 hours worth of usage. And as you can see from this test, there's no issues with the actual panel itself. I initially was running these weekly, so I was running it every week. Once I got to the 1 year mark, I thought that was a good point at which I can basically just reduce it down to once a month. So this is the 14-month test, and as you should be able to see, hopefully, everything is perfectly fine. Whenever I've been watching any type of mixed content, so generally what we tend to do is we watch movies every Fridays. Whenever we've been watching any of those, I've not experienced any issues. I've not seen any ghosting, no image retention, no signs of burn-in or even dirty screen effect that would actually concern me. Generally what we tend to do is Fridays is normally a TV series. So at the moment we're watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Prior to that it was WandaVision, and then normally either Friday night or also Saturday night we'll then watch a movie as well. Currently that may not happen because of Ramadan and because we're fasting, and the timings and everything with that, we may not be using this as much for mixed usage, but it'll still probably get the odd usage for sports, and other than that it'll just be mainly gaming. For those of you out there, obviously with the launch of the new consoles, maybe you're looking at the new C1, G1, that kind of TV, maybe the Sony ones. This is a prime example of how LG has dealt with their OLED TVs, if you like, since I believe it was the early 2019 models, possibly the late 2018s, when they actually changed the subpixel structure and it made them a lot more resilient to any type of burn-in. But yeah, this has been perfectly fine for me, and as you should be able to see, there's no issues with the panel. Now, initially when I did set it up, obviously I have a video on my channel that I will have linked in the description below, as well as a card. and that is just hints, tips and tricks on how to avoid OLED burning. Initially I did run some of the tips and suggestions that are in that video, but since then basically I've just, once I had it tuned in, once I had it set to the way that I liked it, I just left it to it. So I never really worry about it too much. These videos is literally just for future reference, and just as a reference for those of you out there that may be looking to purchase an OLED and you may not see any relevant actual burn-in tests on TVs that are used in real usage. So mixed usage, but also mainly on the gaming side, because that's where these OLEDs really shine. Yeah, other than that, I mean, it all looks perfectly fine to me. No issues with it at all. I have been having issues with the soundbar, but I'll make a video on that separately, because that's obviously a separate product. But the TV itself is performing brilliantly, and it's still one of my best investments when it comes to my home media setup, just because of how much of an impact the OLED image actually gives you, as well as the wide viewing angles as well. Okay, so we've just gone past 6 minutes. So the test, I believe, is normally around 6 minutes something. I did obviously have the service menu up at the start, so it will be a little bit longer than that, but hopefully this is a good indication to everybody out there of what it's actually like to own an OLED TV, and you don't need to worry about burn-in. As you can see, it's simply not an issue.